one of the highly talented members of the highly talented group of Good Morning Football, right here to kick off hour number 3 of the Rich Eisen Show in New York. It's Kyle Brandt, everybody. Good to see you, sir.
Rich, I am thrilled to be here, but what am I doing here?
What do you mean, what are you doing here?
Michael Irvin.
That's true.
Barry Sanders.
Correct.
Kurt Warner.
Right.
And the guy that makes Schrager giggle in the morning was on Days of Our Lives.
The guy.
What am I doing here?
Don't forget Real World. Don't forget season 11 of Real World, Kyle.
You're rapping about
Pivotal
the
season.
Chiefs.
That's right. I am rapping.
Yes.
But hold on. Let me. I have told you this before.
Yes.
Also falling under the what am I doing here. This show has the best guests day in, day out. It is a cavalcade of movie stars. Who dropped out for me to get the spot? Was it Daniel Day-Lewis?
Nobody. Daniel Day-Lewis. No.
Did he drop out?
Actually, his right foot dropped out.
Is that true?
It's very odd.
Foot too.
It's the only he talks about his left one.
That's the famous foot. But this is awesome to be here.
What do you mean? It didn't drop out. I reached out to you a few days ago.
You did. And I want to fan out on you, Rich.
Okay.
I went on Dan Patrick's show about a year ago, and I wanted to fan out on him. I didn't get to do it.
Dan who?
Dan Patrick. I think it was in the same spot. I want to fan out on you.
That was my Jerry Jones imitation. Sorry.
Dan who? Yeah. I've watched a lot of you, Rich.
Okay.
Early 2000s, a lot of ESPN, a lot of SportsCenter.
Yes.
I've always loved what you do.
Thanks,
I love
brother.
it. This is very cool for me to be here talking
Thank you.
to. Very cool. And I think you have, if I may,
Yes.
I think you have one of the truly underappreciated This is SportsCenter commercials.
Okay, which one is that?
Oh.
I think it is the one where you get sent down to the minors.
Oh, gosh.
All right? And it's fantastic. I used to watch this all the time. And you're sitting there, and it's during high school announcements, and Dan's there, and we had to send Rich down.
Right.
And the girl sitting next to you, and she goes, "Take it away, Rich." And you go, "Thank you, Courtney. Let's see that James K. Polk pride, and all JV wrestlers turn in your uniforms to coach by the end of the week." It's great.
I know.
It's a great one.
And then the girl turns to me and goes, "Do you go to this school?" I don't think you even go to this school.
Right. It's a great one.
Fun backstory.
Tell me.
It's funny that you mentioned Dan Patrick.
Okay.
Because that was about like year 2, year 3 for me at SportsCenter, and I was very sensitive to the fact that I was the one chosen to be sent down.
I hear you.
Okay, like I'm being very honest. I told a very honest story the other day about a SportsCenter commercial where they would not let me wash my hands coming out of the bathroom, and I was particularly sensitive because I worked my ass off to attain what I thought a certain level of SportsCenter, and there were others who had been hired after me. Mm-hmm. Why am I the one being sent down to high school? And Dan pulled me aside.
What's he say?
Get over it. Essentially, I mean, that was his message, was get over it. This is a funny commercial. Get over it. You know,
Did you
like
have
we're
thoughts
not
on who
really.
should have gone down?
Say it again.
Did you have thoughts on who else should have been sent down?
Of course I did.
What did you do? Send
Kyle.
Charlie
Let's go.
Steiner?
Name drop.
No,
Name drop.
I don't
Name
know.
drop.
I don't remember. Pretty much name anybody, including our first hour guest tomorrow, and Mike Greenberg. He was hired after me.
Send him
Name
down.
anybody hired after me. They should be sent down to the minors.
But you got the good role, though, Rich. You had the good lines.
Well, I had great lines, you know, where they asked me to buy them beer.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff. And we shot it in an actual high school. And it was tough for me to go through it. But I gutted it out. And it's now one of your favorite SportsCenter. But Dan literally was just like, pulled me aside, like, what's the matter with you?
This is great. Suck it up.
Exactly.
Did you feel the same way about the role when you interrupted the broadcast with the Williams sisters' beads when you were behind camera? Do you remember that one too?
Yes.
Because I have encyclopedic knowledge of the SportsCenter
I have
commercials.
not
This is
remembered that one.
impressive.
Yes,
Tell
the Williams
what it
sisters
is.
were there.
There's
I
a
remember
SportsCenter
that.
going on,
Right.
And I'm not sure. I think it's Dan and somebody else. And there's all this noise off set, and you're getting your hair beaded by the Williams sisters, and it interrupts them.
And I had hair.
Those were the
That's
days.
how funny.
I didn't even think about that.
These days, wouldn't be able to do that commercial.
It's also a good one, though.
If the Williams sisters wanted to reboot that,
Sure.
2.0.
A sequel.
Wouldn't be able to do it.
Sorry,
But
I went there, Rich.
No, not at all. No, I'd forgotten about that one.
It's a good one.
I'd
It's so
forgotten.
fun.
Well, in the green room of our show back in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
we do because I've had this on the back of a chair of any place I've ever had an office since then, is the Kid Eisen shirt or that Lou Duva wore and the robe, the silk, the cornerman silk that Lou Duva wore in the SportsCenter commercial where they came in during the commercial break and I couldn't read the prompter, cut me Lou, cut me, and I did ad lib spitting out with my pinky extended. And the funny thing is when you watch that commercial is they bleep out Lou Duva, the famous cornerman, because they had to. They could not find 3 to 4 continuous safe for work seconds to actually edit into the commercial because he was acting himself.
Right.
And he would curse up a blue streak, so they had to bleep him out for the commercial. So he took off the silk, and I remember they just left it on the side, and I'm like, can I have that? They're like, sure. So I've had it to this day.
I eat this up. This behind the music of these SportsCenter commercials. When they would come to you guys with an idea, like, was it really kind of antsy about who gets to be in it, who gets to do what?
My
It
God.
must be.
Kyle, Brandt,
Tell me.
they would come up with a campaign.
Yeah.
We would hear that the commercial campaign was coming, and we all didn't say a word, but all SportsCenter anchors, are you doing one of the spots? Like, yeah. And then Dan would eventually say, yeah, I'm doing like 3 or 4. Dan would just like drop it, share it, knowing that what sort of ripple in our pond that would leave,
What a master.
Please,
Modern master.
Please. And we would compare notes like who's in what, how many lines do you have? And then the people from ESPN who are part of the Wyden and Kennedy ad agency, they would have like this big loose leaf booklet of all the scripts of the 10 spots that we're gonna have, and they would literally hold it up like a poker hand to their chest to make sure nobody could see the cards.
It was like handcuffed to their wrist.
It was really just like that.
That's so good.
There was one spot that Stuart and I ad-libbed, like totally ad-libbed, and it was when they came up and they were shooting commercials like around November. And we asked them, like, how come there's never been like a holiday-themed SportsCenter commercial campaign? They're like, well, we just never really thought of it. We're like, well, we have an idea for one.
Beautiful.
And we, had an idea for one, and they're like, is there a script? We're like, no, we'll just do it. And we're like, roll the cameras.
Yeah.
And we told them what the idea was. I was at my cubicle, which was my real workspace. Stuart would come up to me because he had an office.
Sure.
And I'm at my workspace typing away on a script, and he would come up to me and present to me a holiday gift.
Okay.
And I opened it up, and it was my IFB, my earpiece.
Sure.
And I put it in, and it fit me and everything. How'd you know, Stuart?
How'd you know my size?
That's what I said to him. How'd you know? And he just like, just cause, essentially what it was. And then we would look at each other. We did this. Looked at each other, paused, gave this quick bro hug, and then backed off. Happy holidays,
Oh, that's
man.
beautiful.
And then he walked away. One take, done. And I've seen it on the air once, and I have not seen it again. I would love to see that spot.
Yeah, I feel terrible. I don't remember this one. I thought I knew them all.
I'm telling you, they aired it, hardly aired it.
Not on YouTube, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Huh.
It's just, you could look it up. Rich, Stu, SportsCenter,
Yeah.
Christmas. And they even had like the little jingle in the back, and the date at the bottom looked like it was around Christmas. You know, always the date and time.
Of course. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And you guys were full producers on that.
They didn't even have it in their little script that they're holding to their chest.
So it makes me one of the other ESPN guys were like, oh, great. Now like Eisen and Scott are coming up with their own stuff. They're breaking the
Too
rules.
bad, and I would pull a Dan, just walk around. Yeah, we just came up with our own one.
Good. All day. I love that stuff.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.